Hi, is that John Wilkinson? John, hello, it's Tim here, Tim Royds from Highclere. John, we're a provider of B2B sales consultancy and sales training services here in the UK, and I was wondering if you got a little time to chat about how we might be able to help you this afternoon. Busy? Okay, when would be a good time to call back? Okay, I'll try. I shall endeavour very hard to see if I can catch you when you're back in the UK. Okay, have a good weekend. Cheers. Frustrating, isn't it? How often do you get that when you're trying to win appointments by telephone? You really do have something that's going to help the prospect, but for some reason they're just not interested. Well, the sad truth is, it's not so much they're not interested. The problem can often be we're not interesting. Now, if you think about what I was saying there, who I am, what we do, I'd like to help, have you got some time this afternoon? I haven't given the prospect there a really good reason to say yes. All I've done is tell them what we do, and heavens only knows. The kind of people I'm trying to engage with, they get more than one call a day, probably more than one call every hour or two. So the challenge that we've got when we're winning appointments by telephone is to ensure that right up front, we've given our prospects a really good reason to say yes to engaging with us in a conversation. And in fact, you need to actually explain that and provide a really good picture of why they should engage with you before you ask. Before you ask if they've got time this afternoon or this morning, not afterwards. Because if you ask, you okay right now? Have you got time right now? If you haven't given them a really good reason, they're busy already, the answer is always going to be no. So, this month's sales tip is quite simple, it's to the point, it's relatively straightforward. At the beginning of your calls, now this is true not only for when you're trying to win appointments, but when you're trying to engage a buyer in a sales call where you're actually almost physically selling something during that conversation. Before you ask if they've got time to have a conversation with you, give them a really good reason in advance why they should say yes. You're then more likely to get a positive response, and then you can move into the more detailed telephone conversation that you're about to have. I've got another number down here. Let's have another go and see if this works any better. So don't forget, sales tip this month: give people a good reason to say yes before you ask if they've got time to engage with you in a telephone conversation. Okay, let's give it a whirl. Hello, is that Mike Townsend? Mike, hello, good afternoon to you. It's Tim here, Tim Royds from Highclere. Mike, I've picked up the information on your website about the Global Sales Academy you're in the process of building, and I think there are one or two novel ways we can help you certainly achieve your goals, if not exceed them, hopefully accelerate the sales success of the team. And also, there are some rather interesting ways we can gain accreditation to your academy from a professional sales institute. Look, would you be okay right now for just a brief cup of ticks this afternoon? Yeah? Fantastic. Okay,